Personally, I'm sort of up in the air here with even commenting on this, but it is in the realm of athletics, and the main sport that I cover with motocross and supercross, there is an underlying, I don't know, stigma that doping doesn't exist, and nobody's really gotten caught for it, so it must not be a problem. And there's a lot of in-house testing going on where it's not being done by WADA. Gets paid by the countries, and there's not a whole lot of money to go around to test every sport from curling to supercross. So a lot of stuff doesn't get tested. So big sports take their stuff in-house where they're paying for it. But then if they take the testing in-house, they're paying for something, so they get the results. And then it's questionable as to what they do with morality, whether or not they release the information, because it's bad press if you have a top guy go out, and it breeds this mob mentality, cancel culture, hate comments on the internet, and it's unfortunate. And I want to say that a gun recognizes a gun. It's one of my favorite quotes, because whether you're a professional athlete in motocross or supercross, you recognize another professional athlete, even if it isn't something like golf or something completely different. You understand to get to that level, the passion involved. And you've got Colin Chartier. He is a elite level triathlete. I think he's ranked 35th if you look. He had a big win last year in September, which maybe made him more of a catalyst for this, where, hey, here's a microscope, let's look at somebody decently, maybe not the top guys, but somebody. Last year, the rankings, he was 23rd in the swim, 53rd on the bike, and 15th on the run, and he finished 35th at the World Championships. And so the internet has just, at least the community of triathlon, have just been eating this man alive, even the other pros. And you mean to tell me some dude in 35th place, right, is the only guy cheating? Well, if we look at his socials, he said that he's deeply sorry and it was just him, and he's not going to give any bullshit excuse like a tainted burrito or tainted COVID vaccine. That I find is funny, because even in the sport of motocross and supercross, there's always been like, oh, I didn't know what I was taking inside of a supplement, or no. You know, at least this gentleman has the balls to say, hey, I got caught, that's what it is. And then you have other big hitters, you know, saying, hey, you bought it on the internet, nobody helped you, you didn't learn how to use it, no. And they're just eating this man alive, when there is a hidden door behind this, where there's probably multiple people. Yeah, I'm kind of allegedly going. There's probably multiple people involved, and multiple athletes as well on the elite level, because where there is money, there is cheating, and it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And that is pretty much in all sports. All sports, you risk it. And these guys literally are willing to risk their bodies to be at the elite level. And it's the irony in it is very interesting, because you want these guys to be bigger, stronger, faster. And you know that in order for them to be number one, or the 1% of the 1%, we all know that professional athletes give everything, absolutely everything. Their time, just they are engulfed in the sport, and that's what we expect out of them. But then we want to ostracize them when they get caught for adding in performance, when we want them to do everything that's possible to be better, right? It's funny. And especially in these kind of sports with cycling, you know, there's been Tour de France teams that have been caught with motors in their bikes, and no. Like, there's a lot of cheating that has gone on, and the internet is eating this up. And if I look at one of the older world champions, he's got a post that he basically says that we can't stay silent and act like there's not a problem, because there's a big problem. And so essentially, from what I'm getting at, what he is saying is that it's not just one dude that's 35th ranked in the world. Yeah, he's won some races that had some good prize money, but there is so much more, and you have to speak up. It's almost like they're trying to start another union here with cycling. But if I'm just diving a little bit deeper, the triathlon, their sports doping is this ITA, and the sport just moved to these guys, and almost instantly they found a test, and they decided to release it. So what I said earlier in the video about it's bad press if you get results and you don't release them, it almost makes you wonder, did they get any more results back too? And then they said, okay, let's make an example out of this guy, but maybe not this guy, because this is bad for business, right? Because all these sports, they are a business, because they got to make money. They got to get more people involved. And that's essentially just sport in general. And I want to say that I feel for Colin, right? And maybe I'm a little biased because I was also somebody that got on the doping train, right? And truthfully, I wish I did it sooner because of the big performance boost that had happened. And I know that there's a lot of guys, even in dirt bike racing, that take stuff, and people that haven't been caught. And it's just sort of a way of life, to the point where you put it in the back of your head that it's not a problem because so many other people are doing it. Like, I was instructed by other riders on how to use this stuff. Like, it's funny. There's so much supplements and so much gray area involved when it comes to this stuff. EPO is the big one, right? Because it's just complete blood doping. You could get a natural boost of EPO if you do the whole live at high altitude, race at low altitude and train at low altitude. Your body's going to adapt to that. But this is something that you could make that same kind of transition, but all the time. It's an anemia medication is what it is. And am I saying it's wrong? Yes, absolutely it is wrong. But I have to end with, we asked so much of the athletes in the sport, and if somebody's not willing to risk it, there's somebody else that's going to do it. And a lot of it has to do with pay. There is a huge discrepancy between first and 50th. And honestly, I don't even know. I think it maybe be top 10 to get paid. So if you've spent your entire life to try to make this a job, and you're just on the precipice of making a living, you might question doing something. And this is so many athletes. This isn't just this kid. There's so many other people that make the same decision. And I think it's interesting that people on the outside looking in that don't live their lives or their decisions or their experiences want to have a huge opinion on the matter. I mean, I guess that's even for myself here. But I do know it's better to be a warrior in a garden than it is to be a gardener in a war, right? Till next time, this is Johnny F. and Hopper. Hurrah, da, da, da.